5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is About Space, America's return to space, with news and information on our U.S. space program. Is your host of About Space, David Denault.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. Well, if you listened last week, you heard Elon Musk say,
"One path is we stay on Earth forever, and then there will be some eventual extinction event. The alternative is to become a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species, which I hope you would agree that is the right way to go."
And we had theories about a third world war. Well, a good friend called me and said to listen to Brian Toon, who has studied nuclear war for 35 years. He says we should all be worried. You'll want to hear what he has to say about nuclear war next, as America and the world is listening to About Space Today. Are you ready to fly away on a dream vacation? For cruises and all-inclusive resort vacations, call D&D Cruise and Tours at 877-747-8631. That's 877-747-8631. And see us on Facebook, D&D Cruise and Tours, where your dreams become a reality. Welcome back. Well, as we did some research into Brian Toon, we found out that he was a professor in the Department of Atmospheric and Oceanographic Sciences at the University of Colorado in Boulder. Now, he contributed to the UN's Nobel Peace Prize for Climate Change and holds numerous scientific awards, including 2 NASA medals for exceptional scientific achievement. So how worried should we be about nuclear war?
It was just fate that an asteroid hit the Earth and killed 70% of the species that we know of on the planet. Unfortunately, in our lifetimes, we may experience the same fate as the dinosaurs. But I'm not talking about another asteroid collision. I'm talking about a nuclear war. A nuclear war would have many of the same phenomena that the dinosaurs experienced. But this time, it absolutely would be our fault. A single Trident missile submarine can carry 100 hydrogen bombs with the explosive power of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs. Knowing the power of the bombs and their targets, we can understand the destructiveness and loss of life that might occur if these were ever used. Even a war between India and Pakistan, 2 of the smallest nuclear powers, with only a few hundred weapons of about the size of the Hiroshima bomb, we might die as unintended consequences that the Indian and Pakistani generals never even gave us a thought about. My colleagues, Luke Oman and Alan Roebuck, calculated the spread of smoke after a war between India and Pakistan. It only takes about 2 weeks for the smoke to cover the entire Earth, and it would rise to altitudes between 20 and 50 miles above the surface. At those altitudes, it never rains. The smoke would stay there for years. It's estimated that in a war between India and Pakistan, that we would lose 10 to 40% of the yields of corn, wheat, and rice for years afterward because of the bad weather. The entire world only has enough food to feed the population for 60 days unless agriculture produces more food. Ira Helfand, a member of the Nobel Peace Prize-winning International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War, has estimated that 1 to 2 billion people would die after a war between India and Pakistan of starvation. And after a full-scale nuclear war, temperatures would plunge below ice age conditions. We would be in a nuclear winter. No crops would grow. It's estimated that 90% of the population of the planet would starve to death, and civilization would be destroyed. In 1968, the United States and 190 other countries signed the treaty to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons. In that treaty, we promised to build our nuclear arsenals down to zero as soon as we could. We need to keep that promise. All of our lives may depend on it.
Perhaps we should give some assiduous consideration to Mr. Musk's idea of becoming a multi-planet species. What do you think? Well, this Friday, join Dawn Meyer for America in Space and have your family and friends join us each week. And follow us on Facebook at aboutspace.today for launches and landings. And to all our listeners around the globe and here in the U.S., thank you for joining me today. I'm David Denault, and this has been About Space Today.